And now to the stories and details. Caretaker chairman of the All Progressives Congress in River State, Sir Tony Okocha, has alleged a plot to seize control of the party in the state in a bid to frustrate President Bola Tinubu's re-election efforts in 2027. Leadership crisis within the APC in River State escalated following recent developments, including that involving the party's state committee, caretaker committee judicial ruling. Okocha's claim came after the Rivers State High Court on Monday, August 12th, sacked the caretaker committee and reinstated Emeka Beke as the party's chairman. However, the APC National Working Committee, in a meeting held on Thursday, declared that the Okocha-led caretaker committee remains the only recognized leadership of the party in the state. Addressing journalists in Abuja, Okocha criticized the reinstatement of Beke and accused him of anti-party activities, along with Barrister Ihai Chukwu Dike. Okocha noted that the APC was not joined in the suit, leading to the court's decision, noting that only the party's national chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, was listed as a party in the case. He urged that the trial judge orders, which involved parties not joined in the suit, were legally flawed. Okocha further described Beke as a product of political imposition by the former APC leader in the state, Rotimi Amechi, whom he accused of wanting a stooge to lead the party. Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress on Saturday described as baseless the claims made by a party chieftain, Emmanuel Odi, that there are plans for Vice President Kashim Shettima and other top government officials to rig the September 21st governorship election in the state. ATN gathered that Odige, a member of the Edo Integrity Group, made the allegation in an interview on Thursday. The APC chieftain also alleged that part of the party's rigging plan included using the police to intimidate voters on the day of the election. He claimed that Shettima was going to work with Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Bajamila, while the President would be forced to take a holiday. Reacting in a statement, the Director of Publicity of the APC Edo Governorship Campaign Council, Orobosao Mojo, said the allegation was baseless and expressed concern about the inflammatory and inciting language used by Odige in the interview. The party therefore called for a thorough investigation of all the allegations made by Odige against Tinubu, Shettima, and others. The statement added that the arrest and prosecution of Emmanuel Odige will thwart whatever plans his integrity group has put in place to destabilize Nigeria. It will go a long way to ensuring the sanctity of the ballot box in Nigeria, including the September 21st, 2024 governorship election in Edo State. Analysts have expressed worry that the process of candidate selection is no longer thrown open for all in the country's electoral process. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program ATM Politics, a political analyst, Pastor C.N. Ihunda, opined that the beauty of democracy is contest, and when people are not given the room to compete for a position, the wrong candidate will emerge as the winner.
Is to create a contest. And the way the trend is going now, it is not to the best interest of democracy. Because where you do not throw the position open for people to contest it, how do you know that the person who is emerging is the best candidate? These have been the problem we are having. And when the person goes in there, the spirit of entitlement will not allow him to do what he's supposed to do. Because I know I am in the system, all the delegates prior to the election may have been, what they do, they would have gathered them in a place, give them envelope, and they promise them one appointment or the other, and they come, and the whole delegate cast their vote for the person against their will. That is my worry. And if there is no internal democracy in the ruling party, and they are the people that may likely clinch the local government position, looking at the antecedent of RESEC, the State Electoral Commission, the way the election is being conducted, So I feel
The analyst further advised that political parties in the country should be allowed to carry out their activities as supposed.
to operate the way they are supposed to operate. Let the right persons occupy the right position. Let it be operation follow your leader. These abnormalities will be corrected.
This is coming after the Enugu State chapter of the People's Democratic Party on Wednesday elected the party's chairmanship candidate for the 17 local government areas of the state, ahead of the October 17-year-old boy by stabbing him on August 7th. The suspect, along with others who are not yet apprehended, then severed the boy's head and legs and sold them to a female suspect for 70,000 naira. Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has formally commissioned the Mushin flyover, the last of the 5 overpasses built along the Red Line rail corridor. Sanwo-Olu, flanked by his deputy Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, and members of the state cabinet, inaugurated the project undertaken by Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority on Saturday. Opening of the infrastructure is expected to relieve motorists and commuters connect, which he said was handled by a local contractor. Protest by aggrieved members stalled the local government congresses of the Benue State People's Democratic Party, PDP, on Saturday. The protest followed alleged alteration of the list from the last ward congresses and diversion of Congress materials. There has been confusion in the party since the inconclusive ward congresses in July. ATN gathered that the list from the ward congresses that was released to party stakeholders in Makurdi on Friday did not tally with what was collated at the ward during the congresses. There was a charged atmosphere at the party secretariat with large presence of security operatives deployed to prevent breakdown of law and order. Several youths suspected to be political thugs converged at the secretariat chanting solidarity songs. Distraught party stakeholders and members had kept vigil at the secretariat awaiting the arrival of the electoral officials from the National Secretariat in Abuja. The conduct of the recent congresses at the ward level has generated so much confusion and heat over the gale of suspensions and counter-suspensions of members for anti-party activities. After a very long wait by members of the party secretariat in Makurdi, pandemonium broke out when electoral officials arrived from Abuja. ATN gathered that fights broke out as the officials were prevented from distributing materials for the conduct of the local government congresses. Members of the party demanded for the list of candidates for the local government congresses and results of the last ward congresses, which the officials could not produce. The electoral officers from Abuja were chased out by party secretariats by protesting members. The caretaker chairman of the party, AVM Napoleon Bali, and members of his committee fled the secretariat in a convoy to an unknown destination. In other stories, true, they engaged the element in serious gun duel, effectively neutralizing 2 of them. According to them, other bandits were forced to withdraw in disarray during the encounter. Lieutenant Omale further stated that the troops conducted a mop-up operation during which they recovered 1 operational motorcycle belonging to the violent extremists. He pointed out that the area has been secured with troops of Sector 1 Joint Task Force Northwest. Section of the popular Kauru market located opposite the Prince and Princess Estate in the Kaura district of Abuja was gutted by fire on Friday night. The fire, which reportedly started at about 11 p.m. on Friday, razed approximately 40 shops. The immediate cause of the fire is yet to be determined. Newsmen could not confirm the details of the incident at the time of filing this report, as neither the spokesperson for the FCT Fire Service, Ibrahim Muhammad, or the acting director, Omiola Adebayo, could be reached via telephone. Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the FCT Emergency Management Department, Nkechi Issa, could not immediately confirm the incident but promised to provide an update shortly. However, Some reports claim that traders lamented the late arrival of the FCT fire service, which resulted in the spread of the fire, causing insignificant losses. Also, Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Ezenwong-Wike, has sworn in Abdullahi Suleimani Ango as the mandate secretary of FCTA Youth Secretariat and newly appointed permanent secretaries of FCT Ministry in Abuja. At the swearing-in ceremony in Abuja, Wike noted that the appointment was made possible due to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's way of bringing Nigerians out of hardship, as many people kick against FCT Ministry having permanent secretaries. Our Abuja correspondent Joseph Moses Mawunyinka completes the report.
Promise made is promise fulfilled. These were the exact words of the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom-Wike, while delivering his address at the event of the swearing-in the mandate secretary of FCTA Youth Secretariat and permanent secretaries of FCT Ministry in Abuja. The appointment of Abdullahi Suleiman Ango as Youth Mandate Secretary and permanent secretaries, which include Okeke Joy Chinwe from Southeast, Ajayi Rotimi Babatunde from Southwest, Nathan Nancy Sabanti from Northeast, remain the fulfillment of the Renew Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. To this, the minister therefore charged the mandate secretary to work towards development of the youth of FCT by creating programs with focus towards empowerment and job creation.
Today, promise made, promise fulfilled. Of particular note is the creation, the establishment of the Youth Secretariat. Establish Youth Secretariat that will cater particularly for the youth. It's not just to be happy. You must sit down, robustly come out with a program that will help the youth. What we have found out is that most people are only interested by the fact that I've been given an appointment. Sit down. What do I do that will help the youth of Abuja? That is key. You are the Pioneer Mandate Secretary. You must use it to say, while I was there as the Pioneer Mandate Secretary, this was my program for the interest of the drum part. It is for you now to sit down and work with us, and work with me, and say, look, these are the programs we think that will help the youth. We think will make the youth to be entrepreneurial in nature, will help them to reduce the effects of hardship that they are facing. If anything happens otherwise, you'll be held responsible.
Speaking of the function of the appointed permanent secretaries, we can emphasize that FCT Ministry has never had such opportunities before, warning that the appointment is not for pleasure, but commitment to work.
For the mandate secretaries, I'm sure today you are satisfied that you've gotten to almost the highest level of your career. The only level you may now want to be is to be head of service. But remember, before now you had no opportunity to be a permanent secretary because it was never there before. And that is why we must always appreciate and thank Mr. President for breaking this hurdle, which so many people have fought against, when Mr. President stood firm to say, look, ours is to give hope to the hopeless. Ours is to make sure that people are not stagnated in their career. We are not interested in you kneeling down here now. My interest is for you to be committed and work. If you know you have no capacity to work, it's better you resign now. At least you will go with the emolument of former permanent secretary.
Joseph Moses, Atlantic Television Network News.
Southern Kaduna People's Union has called for urgent intervention over the destruction of farm crops, the killing of several individuals and kidnapping of 8 people in Kauru and Kachia local government areas of Kaduna State. The forum expresses concerns over the sad, worrisome and devastating news of the killings and the destruction of farmers' crops by herdsmen in Kauru local government area. The forum described the incident that affected several people as heartbreaking and very disturbing, lamenting that it is sad that it impacted struggling individuals who can barely afford to feed themselves. A statement issued by the forum's public relations officer Josiah Yusuf Abrax explained, "These are predominantly farmers, including women. Among the victims is a woman fending for her partially blind husband, whose farm crops were completely ravaged by the cattle of the rampaging herdsmen." The statement further lamented that the culprits have yet to be apprehended. The forum called on Governor Sani Uba and all security agencies to ensure the arrest of the perpetrators of this evil in Yadi community of Kauru local government area and anywhere else such crimes are committed. In another development, the statement noted that Kwasham Dr. Ishaya was killed and 8 other people were kidnapped, also in Kauru local government area. In yet another development, the statement explained that the district head of Gauru, Alhaji Babangida Adamu Suleiman, was kidnapped in Lere local government area, and Pastor Peter Shabayan, who was killed in Katu Crossing community of Kachai local government area. Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Yahaya, has stated that the state has a standing committee on the new minimum wage. Recall that last July, the governor questioned the viability of the state paying the new approved 70,000 naira. Yahya made this disclosed on Saturday in a press statement signed by the Director General of following his courtesy call to Vice President Kashim Shettima. Yahya revealed that the standing committee headed by his deputy Manasa Jatau is exploring ways to implement the new national minimum wage for workers. Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State has disclosed that the State Community Guard Corps is being equipped to assist in safeguarding the rural communities. Aliyu disclosed this during a thank you visit to the Kebe local government area of the state as part of his tour of 4 local government areas under the Sokoto South Senatorial Zone of the state. While in Tambuwal, Aliyu assured the completion of Al Hassan Faga Bakaya Road project awarded at the cost of 2 billion naira, as well as the prison Yagawal Nabagadu Road, also awarded to the tune of 2.6 billion naira. Aliyu said that the lack of proper office accommodation that hitherto hindered the takeoff of the corps, especially in the 13 local government areas worst affected by banditry, is now over. He called on the people of the state to continue to give the corps the needed support so that they could discharge their duties with due diligence. On the Kebe Bridge, which is on the verge of collapsing, the governor ordered the immediate assessment of the bridge with a view to reconstructing it so as to save Kebe community from being disconnected from other parts of the state. He also said that work on the installation of 250 solar-powered streetlights in Kebe local government is progressing steadily, adding that 2 Jumuta mosques are to be renovated in addition to the construction of 2 feeder roads in the area. The governor also promised to construct the Jega Samu, Romo Kaya Barga, and Gudal Kadamare Yajiyu Road projects at the Tambuwal local government area. Also, while speaking in Shangari local government, Aliyu pledged to construct Dadin Mahe Mabera Era Rijaya Malam, and Jinju Junction Horobirni feeds roads. In addition to the renovation of 2 Jumuta Mosque, earlier in Yabo, the governor assured people of the area of his administration's commitment to construct Kilgori Kwadaza, Magasi, Rugar, Kizo, as well as Bangaje, Beno feeders roads, as well as the renovation of Yabo Jumat Mosque. You are watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is the News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Federal government of Nigeria commissioned a 40 kWp solar hybrid mini-grid in Rufin-Zurufi Community, Gwagalada Area Council, within the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on Saturday. This initiative executed through the Rural Electrification Agency under the Rural Electrification Fund's Core 2 programs aims to provide clean, affordable, and reliable electricity to deserved communities in Nigeria. The Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Maria Mahmood, represented by Special Advisor Michael Bawa, underscored the project's potential to drive socio-economic transformation in Rufin-Zurufi. The Managing Director CEO of REA, Abba Aliyu, represented by the Executive Director of the Rural Electrification Fund, Doris Ubo, reiterated the agency's dedication to electrifying rural areas. She emphasized the importance of reasonable tariffs for the sustainability of solar power projects in Rufin-Zurufi community. According to the ED, providing absolutely free electricity would lead to the collapse of the project as it would be unsustainable. Instead, the agency plans to establish a rural electrification cooperative society comprising indigents of the community to oversee the project's maintenance and ensure its longevity. In a different story, House of Representatives Committee on University Education has expressed concern over the dilapidated infrastructure and land encroachment at the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, and other universities in Southeast Geopolitical Zone. In his remarks following an oversight visit to the federal universities in the Southeast region, Abubakar Hassan Fulata, Chairman, House Committee on University Education, appealed to other universities to make concerted efforts to renovate and maintain the structures on ground instead of building new ones while the available facilities are left to decay. Fulata noted that most of the universities his committee visited did not comply with federal character principles and also spend internal generated revenue without approval of the National Assembly, which he considers as a gross violation of the Constitution. The Vice-Chancellor, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Professor Nina Nanaya Oti, in her submission lamented over the encroachment of the land belonging to the institution by the host community. She said non-availability of perimeter fence is one of the factors that resulted in the land encroachment and sought the assistance of the committee to address the challenge. Similarly, the acting director, executive director, National Institute of Nigerian Languages, ABBA, Professor C.I. Ugu, told the committee that despite vast land allocated for the school, only little portions have been utilized due to lack of fund. Professor Ugu noted that despite previous efforts, there has not been assistance from Tertiary Education Tax Fund. He appealed to the committee and TET Fund for an intervention. The deputy chairman of the committee, Honorable Okpolum Ete, in his contribution said the oversight visits should not be in any view as witch hunting, as it is in line with the provision of the Constitution. He said the oversight visits enables the lawmakers who are saddled with the responsibility of appropriating to also check whether what has been appropriated is properly utilized. Honorable Ilasu Iyalu, a member of the committee, said while there were several needs to be attended to, the sources revealed are limited. Hence, the need for effective utilization of the appropriated fund. National Youth Service Corps NYSC has demobilized 54 graduates of the University of Calabar who were illegally registered for national service by crooks in the university system. A statement by the NYSC Director of Information and Public Relations, Eddie Megwa, said another 19 initially registered online for mobilization have been prevented from service, while 4 certificates of national service for other corporates were not produced by the scheme. He said the corporates will be prosecuted in accordance with the law, adding that in its continuous efforts to prevent unqualified graduates from getting the NYSC certificate, national service, a total of 54 corps members that were illegally mobilized by the University of Calabar were demobilized by the scheme. The statement said the NYSC Director General lauded the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar, Professor Florence Obi, for her forthrightness to have earlier hinted the core of the mobilization of unqualified graduates from her institution. The DG said the NYSC would leave no stone unturned in sanitizing its mobilization processes. Inspector General of the Police, Kayode Egbetukun, has ordered the deployment of tactical operatives and assets to ensure the prompt rescue of the kidnapped medical students in Benue State. 20 medical students of the University of Maiduguri and Jos traveling to Enugu were kidnapped along the Otukpo-Enugu road on Thursday. The students were traveling for the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu when they were abducted. Condemning the students' abduction in a statement on Saturday by the force, spokesperson Mayiwu Adejobi, the IG, described the actions of the criminals as reprehensible and callous. Adejobi said Egbetukun has ordered the deployment of a substantial number of human and technical resources to augment the manpower of the Benue State Command to ensure the swift rescue of the students. Adejobi also said tactical operatives, helicopters, drones and vehicles, amongst others, would be deployed to facilitate the rescue of the students. Nigerian Medical Association has called on the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, to urgently intervene in the abduction of 20 medical students who were kidnapped on their way to Enugu for a conference. The NMA Secretary General, Dr. Benjamin Egbo, disclosed this in a letter to the IGP, which he posted on his association's X.com account on Saturday. According to the NMA, the incident occurred between Otukpo and Benue in Enugu State, and one of the abducted students managed to share their location via Google Maps, indicating they were in Ogwelewu, Ohaje area. The message was said to have been accompanied by an abduction note, further confirming the incident. The association expressed deep concern for the safety and well-being of the students and urged the police to deploy the necessary resources to secure their immediate and safe return. The NMA also offered to provide assistance and support to facilitate the police efforts in rescuing the abducted students. Similarly, the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students stated, "As students, we are the future of Nigeria, and an attack on us is an attack on the very future of this great nation. Medical students are also crucial to the future of healthcare excellence, innovation, and compassion. Their education, safety, and well-being are vital to the progress and health of our society." In a statement on Saturday by the spokesperson for the House of Representatives, Rotimi Akin, the Green Chamber aligned itself with the NMA and NANS in urgently calling on the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies to mobilize all necessary resources to ensure the safe returns of these students. Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has made a call to action in response to insecurity and economic hardship in the country. Citing recent cases of kidnappings, including the abduction of medical students in Benue and a state commissioner and his wife in Edo, Obi stated that it was time to declare war on this massive insecurity. In a statement on X.com on Saturday, Obi wrote, "When I say we should declare war on the economy, power and insecurity, some people spin the narrative while others complain. But what else can we do? The former Anambra State Governor hence called for a united battle against the challenges facing the nation. ATN reported on Friday that no fewer than 20 medical and dental students, along with a house officer, were kidnapped by gunmen in Benue State. The students were reported to be traveling to the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu when they were ambushed around 5:30 p.m. in the Otukpo area. Similarly, the Commissioner for Youth Development in Anambra State, Patrick Agbamba, and his wife were reportedly kidnapped in Edo State on their way to Abuja on Friday. National Judicial Council has issued a letter of advice to State High Court Judge Justice O.M. Olagunju, urging her to be circumspect as a judicial officer before acting, even in the most challenging situation. Justice Olagunju was said to have used court language in a letter addressed to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, challenging the Council's decision and its policy direction on the appointment of the President of the Customary Court of Appeal in Oyo State. The NJC Director of Information, Soji Oye, in a statement in Abuja added that the NJC also constituted 4 probe panels to investigate 27 High Court judges over alleged judicial misconduct brought against them. The NJC at its 106th meeting presided over by the outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukoyede Areolu, considered the report of its preliminary complaint assessment committee on 22 petitions written against 27 judicial officers of the federal and state high courts. However, 18 petitions were discountenanced for lacking merit, abandoned, or being sub-judiced. The discounted petitions are against the President of the Court Appeal, Justice Monica Dogba Mesem, Justice Williams Dagwodu, Justice B. Georgewell, Justice Yagarta Timpar, Justice S. Samchi, Justice Aisha Aliyu, Justice A. Aderigbegbe, Justice M. Shuaibu, Justice H. Abiru, and Justice Abdulaziz Waziri, all of the Court of Appeal. Others are the Chief Judge, Federal High Court, Justice John Chosho, Justice Z. Abdul Bakar, Justice James Omotosho, Justice Sunday Onu, all of the Federal High Court, and Justice Okon Abang, when he was serving at the Federal High Court. The rest are Justice Kayode Ogunloye of the FCT High Court, Justice Babagana Karumi of the High Court Borno State, Justice Maimunu Abubakar of the High Court of Niger State, Justice A. Aderibigbe of the Osun State High Court, and Justice Aisha Aliyu of the Nasarawa State High Court. Inter-Party Advisory Council has condemned the exorbitant nomination fees demanded by state independent electoral commissions for local government polls, describing it as a violation of the 1999 Constitution and Electoral Act 2022. The council spoke on Saturday ahead of local government polls in several states including Kaduna, Kano, and Jigawa. IPAC's national chairman Yusuf Maman Dantali slammed the fees as unconstitutional and illegal, citing Supreme Court's judgments that have nullified similar fees in the past. The council specifically criticized the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission for demanding 11 million naira for chairmanship candidates and 2.2 million for councillorship aspirants, as well as the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission fees of 10 million naira and 5 million respectively. Similarly, IPAC condemned the Jigawa State Independent Electoral Commission's fees of 5 million and 2 million naira for chairmanship and councillorship candidates. Dantali argued that these fees undermine democracy and exclude low-income candidates from participating in the electoral process. He urged SIECs to withdraw the illegal fees and conduct free, fair, and transparent local government elections. In the business news this evening, Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, has revealed that the service would be seeking the support of the National Assembly to enact a law on the crypto industry Adedeji said this on Saturday at a stakeholder engagement with the Senate and House Committee on Finance organized by the Intergovernmental Relations Department of the service, with the team repositioning the FIRS to achieve its mandate. During his opening speech, Adedeji informed the lawmakers about the proposed bill. He told them that by September, they are proposing a law that would overhaul the whole process of revenue administration in Nigeria, harmonizing recording and simplifying the tax laws that we have, noting that in the Stamp Duty Act of 1939, where there was no internet connection, we needed to bring it up. Cryptocurrency platforms have been subjected to intense scrutiny following the exit of Binance, which was accused by the Nigerian government of manipulating the naira to dollar exchange rate. Recently, Nigeria imposed a 7.5% value-added tax on crypto transaction fees. This was revealed by a cryptocurrency exchange, KuCoin, when it told its users it would start value-added tax collection on July 8, 2024. At the end of the 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria lifted its ban on banks operating accounts for crypto service providers, which signaled a shift towards a more open but regulated approach, which was welcomed by many local crypto users. Analysts have said that fuel subsidy removal by the federal government is among the reasons for the increase in the price of food products in the country. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program ATM Business, the president of the Association of Farmers and Food Processors in River State, Chisom Dike, disclosed that subsidy removal, insecurity amidst other factors are contributing to the food scarcity in the country.
We go through, and most of us that produce food, we have a lot of issues in terms of farming. Like the minister said, food should be produced regularly, every time. But because of the facilities we don't have, irrigation and the greenhouses, we're unable to produce food at all times. So our foods are produced seasonally. So this has caused a lot of issues. It's caused a lot of inflation, insecurity as well, transportation, and the worst of it is the wastage. We waste a lot of food. Some places produce food and they're unable to take the food to the marketplaces.
Mr. Dike, however, charged the Nigerian government to invest more in agriculture by imbibing the use of technology in place of manual farming for greater production.
But if it's manual labor, we'll do it for almost a month. And how many of us are actually farming? So I think the government needs to look into technology. I've always advocated to whereby we should have the governments, via the local government areas, have tractors available to the local governments, and then farmers can come in and pay a stipend and hire them, use them to work, and return them. With that, individuals don't have to buy a tractor because it's quite expensive. But when the government brings in such things, and then we'll make use of it, then obviously we'll produce more food and inflation will drop. The reason for inflation is because more mouths to feed and less food.
This is coming after food inflation rates declined to 39.53% from 40.87% data released on Thursday by the National Bureau of Statistics. Matrix Energy Group has denied claims of importing substandard petroleum products into the country, insisting that its products have consistently met approved specifications. The oil marketing and trading company clarified its response to an online publication that Matrix Energy is one of the biggest importers via Malta, a tiny European country. The chairman of Dangote Refineries Limited, Aliko Dangote, had alleged some personnel of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, oil traders and terminals, have opened a blending plant in Malta. This was immediately denied by the Group Executive Chief Officer, NNPCL, Mele Kyari. Nigeria's petroleum importation from Malta surged significantly to 2.8 billion in 2023 compared to zero between 2017 and 2022, and a mere 13.35 million in 2016. However, in its official reaction, the management of Matrix Energy affirmed that it has never imported or distributed any substandard cargo in the company's 2 decades of operation. A statement signed by the head corporate Communications Matrix Energy Group, Ibrahim Akinola, on Saturday, explained that the company did not discharge 200,000 metric tons of PMS into its facility in July 2024, as claimed by the news reports. According to the statement, the company said it has followed laid down procedures issued by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in importing fuel products and has never been found wanting. It added that recently introduced Utapati crude oil blend from OML 13 was obtained through a bidding process, and any company that wins the tender is operating within the law. The company also denied any wrongdoing by its Chief Executive Officer, Abdul Kabir Adisa, stressing that its CEO is a talented and dedicated Nigerian with the right to associate freely as well as trade freely in any part of the world. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has denied rumors of selling employment slots to Nigerians and anyone who wishes to buy. In a statement on Saturday in Abuja signed by its Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Soneye, the oil firm described such rumors as antics of fraudsters who want to take advantage of the unsuspecting applicants. The national oil companies called on Nigerians to disregard such rumors and warned against paying money to anyone for any job in the company. Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has said it is modifying the fleet policy for domestic airline operators to ensure its implementation aligns with a carrier scope of operation. Acting Director General of NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo, said this while declaring open a training program for the consumer protection portal unveiled by NCAA. Najomo stated that under him, the NCAA would continue to encourage more airlines to come into the industry. On the new portal, Najomo said the NCAA had to retool its responsibilities by adopting the digitalization of most of its operations using the latest information technology applications. In international news, ECOWAS Regional Center for Surveillance and Disease Control has reported that monkeypox continues to spread in the region, with 44 cases confirmed, one death recorded by the end of Epi Week 33, 2024. Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, and Ghana are the hardest hit countries in ECOWAS. The report, monkeypox or mpox, is the zoonotic viral disease caused by the monkeypox virus, part of the orthopoxic virus genus. While it shares similarities with smallpox, is generally less severe. The virus spreads amongst animals to humans through direct contact with the blood, body fluids, or lessons of infected animals. Human-to-human transmission occurs through respiratory droplets, contact with infected body fluids, or exposure to contaminated objects. However, the African continent has continued to experience significant challenges in controlling the spread of monkeypox, with a marked increase on cases and fatalities since the beginning of 2024. With 37,000 cases and 1,451 deaths reported this year, the continent is facing a massive public health emergency. The Democratic Republic of Congo is bearing the brunt of this crisis, shockingly accounting for 24 alone. The first half of 2024 saw an explosive rise in infections across Africa, 14,250 monkeypox cases and 456 deaths, representing a 160% increase in cases and a 19% jump in fatalities compared to the same period last year. The DRC remains the epicenter of the outbreak, with the case fatality of 3%, underscoring the severities of the cases. In June 2024 alone, 500 new cases were reported in the African region, highlighting the relentless spread of the virus. The center stated, June 2024 saw a global continuation of monkeypox transmission, with 567 new cases reported from the African region. Further underscoring the ongoing public health emergency, the regional center called for an immediate scaling up of response efforts. It stressed the need for urgent public awareness campaigns to educate communities about prevention and symptoms. Equatorial Guinea President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo has named a former bank chief after the previous government resigned after being deemed ineffective. At the end of the July government of Manuela Rakoya Bote, who was the first woman to fill the role of the Prime Minister, submitted its resignation at the request of the President just 18 months after being appointed. In accepting the resignation last month, the President said it was clear that there has been a collective inability to provide effective solutions to critical problems such as economy, social cohesion, and combating corruption. In a decree signed Friday by Obiang and published by the Presidency, he named Manuel Osa Nsua as Prime Minister and said he was charged with the administrative coordination of Equatorial Guinea. The newly appointed Prime Minister has been Director of the National Bank of Equatorial Guinea since 2012. Equatorial Guinea's 82-year-old President Obiang has ruled over his small African nation, a former Spanish colony rich in oil deposits, for 44 years. The United Nations and non-governmental organizations frequently criticize repression of any form of dissent in Equatorial Guinea. Deadly Israeli strikes hit Lebanon and Gaza on Saturday as the U.S. Secretary of State headed back to Israel aiming to finalize the Gaza truce agreement, which diplomats say could help avert a wider regional conflagration. Lebanon's health ministry said an Israeli strike in southern Lebanon killed 10 people, including a Syrian woman and her 2 children. The strike was amongst the deadliest in southern Lebanon, including the onset of near-daily exchanges of fire between Israel and Hezbollah following the start of Gaza war in October. On Friday, the Turkish parliament witnessed a dramatic confrontation as an intense debate regarding the detention of an opposition delegate escalated into physical altercations. During the tense session, a brawl erupted when Ahmet Sik, a representative of the same party as the imprisoned deputy, was assaulted by a member of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's being a terrorist organization, was confronted and attacked at the chamber's podium. ATN reports that a tumultuous incident transpired in the Turkish Grand National Assembly during a recent session, as several deputies became embroiled in a physical altercation. A female legislator was struck, resulting in bloodstains in the steps of Speaker Lecton, and another opposition member sustained injuries as well. It is not unusual for physical confrontations to occur amongst lawmakers in Turkey. The meeting was held to deliberate on the case of Kan Atale, who was elected as a parliamentary deputy for the Workers' Party of Turkey in the last year's election, while incarcerated. Atale, sentenced to 18 years imprisonment for his involvement in the 2013 anti-graft politics protest against then Prime Minister Erdogan, has been striving to secure his parliamentary seat. Securing parliamentary immunity would facilitate his release from Marmara prison. However, he has vowed to return to prison upon the completion of his term. In entertainment news, Grammy Award-winning producer and songwriter The Dream is seeking to have large parts of a sexual assault claim filed against him thrown out. The 47-year-old born Therese Gestelde Diamant was accused of rape and sexual battery in June by a former protege, Shanaz Mangori, who performed at Shani Monroe. In response, Mr. Gestelde Diamant, who has written songs for Beyoncé, Rihanna, Justin Bieber and Mariah Carey, denied the allegations. On Friday, his legal representatives filed to have the case thrown out, calling the claims a textbook example of a shotgun pleading. The term shotgun pleading is used to describe a complaint which sets out to multiple allegations without providing the other side with fair notice of the claims. In court documents seen by newsmen, The lawyers asked for multiple amendments to Ms. Mangoro's complaint, insisting certain paragraphs are immaterial and scandalous. They are seeking to dismiss the rape claim, arguing rape is not a separate civil cause of action under California law. They also argued the sex trafficking claims fails to allege required elements like a commercial sex act. His legal representatives also asked for the labels Contract Paris LLC to be removed from the suit as it is based in Delaware and therefore lacks personal jurisdiction in California. According to the lawsuit filed in June, Ms. Mangoro says Mr. Gestel Diamante repeatedly forced her to have sex, throttled her, and on one occasion filmed an intimate encounter and then threatened to show it to the other people. According to the 60-page lawsuit, Ms. Mangoro is seeking damages for lost wages and for mental pain and anguish and severe emotional distress. In sports, former under-23 Eagles captain Azubike Okechukwu has sealed a move to Turkish second club side Erzurumspor. Okechukwu, who was on the books of another Turkish club, Siake Rizespor, last season. The 27-year-old made 13 league appearances for Rizespor last season. The midfielder is presently training with the team pending his official unveiling. Okechukwu has spent most of his professional career in Turkey. He has previously played for clubs in Turkey including Yemi Malatyaspor, Istanbul Başakşehir and Sivasspor. The former Bayelsa United star has made one appearance for Nigeria at the international level. Fiorentina is reportedly considering a move for Manchester United centre-back Victor Lindelof this transfer summer. The Serie A club have identified Lindelof in their search for a new defender. According to Gianluca Di Marzio, a loan deal in Fiorentina's preferred option for the Swedish international. The report added that Fiorentina have also inquired about how much of his wages they would pay to have him. Lindelof signed a new contract with United in January through next summer. The 30-year-old is not a regular starter under manager Erik ten Hag at Old Trafford. Liverpool winger Mohamed Salah on Sunday set a new Premier League record as he surpassed the likes of Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer after scoring a goal against Ipswich Town. Salah registered an assist and also scored a goal as Liverpool defeated Ipswich Town 2-0 in a Premier League opener at Portham Road. The goal against Ipswich Town was Salah's 9th goal in the opening day of the Premier League. It took the Egyptian past Lampard, Rooney and Shearer, all with a total of 8 matchday 1 goals during their respective careers. The 8 seasons that Salah has spent at Anfield, he has scored on the first game of the league in 7. The only time the 32-year-old failed to do so was last season's opener against Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. Paris Saint-Germain Portuguese striker Goncalo Ramos needs ankle surgery and will be sidelined for training against Le Havre. Ramos was signed for the French champions for €90 million